I'm the Rifter, and this is a computer PC tutorial. In this video, I'm just going to go over some of the terminology that's going to be used in this series. Let's just say you get a new computer, and you don't really know much about them, but you wanted to get a computer because you're trying to communicate with your children or grandchildren, or you want to get on Facebook. This is just kind of a beginner's tutorial. Most people are probably not going to use this much. But let's get started. This whole black area right here, it will probably look a little different on your computer. You might have a wallpaper there, and by that I mean a picture that Windows puts up there by default. But this whole black area on my screen is called the desktop. This is where all of your, well, first of all, this little arrow you see moving around, that is your mouse cursor, or some people just call it the cursor. This is what you use to select things. Now that I've said that, the thing my cursor is setting on top of and moving around on is called the desktop. These are your icons. Any little picture with a word under it, not necessarily with a word under it, but any little picture is called an icon on here. It's just, think of it as a symbol that represents something. Like this is the symbol for Google Chrome. This little open folder with a bunch of stuff in it are my daily files I use for my videos, and this is the icon for your recycle bin. It just represents all of your files you've recently deleted that you want to permanently delete. And I'm going to empty my recycle bin because I don't want those files anymore. So to get started, once you get the hang of moving your cursor around, to select something, just to select something, you click on it once. Anything on your desktop, now you can change these settings, but just for all intents and purposes, we're going to stick with the default settings for Windows. So just to select an icon, you just click it once. That will highlight it. Really doesn't do much for you. If you want to open something, double click it. And now your cursor is probably not going to have a little orange or yellow glow around it. I put that there so you can kind of keep up with my cursor because I move a little fast. But when I left click, it'll turn red. When I right click, it'll turn blue, just so you know what I'm doing. Like, that's a right click, the cursor turned blue on your screen. It's just to help you out. It really doesn't do that. So you double click to open and just single click to select. What just happened here is I opened up my recycle bin, and what this does is it opens a window. This whole white area and the entire screen, other than this taskbar, is a window. Anytime you open something, it's going to open a window. That's the whole point of this operating system being called Windows, or Windows 10. The next thing we need to talk about is the Start button. This is your Start button down here in the left bottom corner. If you click that once, it is going to give you a whole big confusing menu of stuff. These are just apps that are preloaded on your computer. Really not much else to say about the apps other than this is your big list of apps. Everything that's installed on your computer. I don't really have much installed on here because this is a blank computer I'm just using for tutorials. So if you just want to close that, just click on the desktop area. Let's say, for instance, you've got, a whole bunch of things open, and you're kind of getting confused on what's going on or which window is which. Don't panic. If you bring your cursor all the way down to the right and click, it will show you the desktop. And then these little tabs you have here, these are all windows that are open. So if you click that little thing in the bottom right hand corner again, it will bring it back up just like you had it. But if you just get lost and you want to get back to your desktop, just click that bottom right hand corner and it will take you back to your desktop. Because when you have a window open, you have your minimize button minimize button, your maximize button, and your close button. Now, what these do, this is of course going to send this to the bottom of the screen. All it does is take this window to the bottom of the screen to get it out of your way. The maximize button takes it to a full screen. Technically it's not full screen, but it does maximize the window. But just to make it easier to understand, we're going to say that it makes it full screen. When you have a window that's full screen, you're going to have this double window symbol, and it says restore down. So basically, if you have a position on the screen you like, which, let's say you want this window to open like this all the time, right in this spot at this size, if you have it maximized and you press restore, it will go back down to the way you had it. So if I close this window and open it back up, it's going to be in the same exact spot. And then I can maximize it, bring it down, but whatever you adjust it to, and that's what this little corner arrow does, you can drag and adjust however you want. But that's what that does. You press that and it will go to the exact position you had it before. The X button is going to close the window. Simple. And then it disappears from down here. You just have to open it up again. Alright, so I've got two of these windows open. Let's say that you want a bigger screen and you're tired of clicking back and forth. I wish they had this back in the day when they had Windows XP. It would have made it a lot easier. They came out with it around Windows Vista, which Windows Vista was garbage. Windows 7 has this feature, but if you grab this little bar up top and you drag it to the right side of the screen, it will automatically put this as far as it can go halfway on the right side of the screen. Now it's going to give you a selection of a bunch of different windows you have open. All you have to do is select the new one and it will fill this part of the screen. But let's say it doesn't do that. All you have to do is drag it to the left and it will fill up the left side of the screen with it, so you don't have to worry about it. Then you can go back and forth, and you don't have to keep on switching back and forth between two windows like this. Now there's a keyboard shortcut where you can do that, and I usually use that, but that's going to be in a later video. And again, if all else fails and you're just kind of lost on what is what, don't panic. If you hover, like with your cursor, hover over icons, they have tool text tips. That will tell you that's Google Chrome. That's my mail. This should be the Windows App Store, Microsoft Store. And this is File Explorer, but if I close that and hover over it, it'll tell me it's the File Explorer. Even here, Recycle Bin contains the files and folders that you have deleted. Pretty simple. If you guys have any questions, just drop me a line in the comment section and I will do my best to answer. I will be releasing more of these tutorials and they're going to get more in depth and more in depth, so just keep an eye out for them. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you at the next tutorial.